Concrete walls, a steel bed bolted to the floor, a shower stall with one blind spot the camera can't quite reach. This is Altiplano, the most secure prison Mexico has ever built. No fly zone overhead, motion sensors, watchtowers, guards trained never to lose sight of him. 8:52 in the evening. The man in the cell sits down and calmly takes off his shoes. He steps behind the shower wall, the one spot the camera can't see, and he is simply gone. It takes his guards 20 minutes to realize the world's most wanted trafficker vanished through a hole in the floor. No gun was fired. No fence was climbed. He just bent down and disappeared into the ground. His name is Joaquín Guzmán. The world knows him by the nickname he got for being short, El Chapo. In 30 years, he built a criminal empire moving cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine into 50 American states and roughly 50 countries beyond. He made the Forbes billionaires list, while a wanted fugitive. Captured, escaped, captured again, escaped again. In the end, no SWAT team brought him down. It was his own vanity, a movie star, and a car that wouldn't start. This is the hunt for El Chapo. Drawn from U.S. Department of Justice records, his 2019 federal trial, and years of reporting. Convicted on every count. This happened. To understand how he escaped an impossible prison, you first have to understand why so many people wanted to help him. Born in 1957 in a mountain village called La Tuna, so remote the government was less a presence than a rumor. One cash crop grew well in these hills. It wasn't legal, and it was the only visible way up. Boys here didn't dream of becoming pilots or engineers. They dreamed of the one industry that could pay. What made Guzmán different wasn't cruelty. That was common. It was organization. Roots, timing, redundancy, obsessive attention to logistics. When his boss fell, Guzmán didn't fall with him. He stepped into the gap and helped build the Sinaloa Cartel. His genius was infrastructure, planes, trains, cocaine packed into cans of chili peppers, shipped in plain sight, and tunnels, reinforced, lit, fitted with rail carts, dug straight beneath the US-Mexico border. Remember the tunnels. They are the thread that runs through this entire story, start to finish. The thing that made him rich would again and again be the very thing that set him free. His escapes were never miracles. They were just the one thing he had always done best. 1993. Guzmán's name exploded onto the front pages for a killing he may not have committed. Gunmen opened fire in a crowded airport parking lot. An ambush aimed, officially, at Guzmán himself. 7 people died in the crossfire. One was a cardinal, shot 14 times in his robes. Impossible to mistake for a fleeing trafficker. The truth of that parking lot was never fully settled, but the effect was immediate. Mexico put a price on his head. Within weeks he was caught, sentenced to 20 years. But for Guzmán, prison was a change of address, not career. From inside his cell, through bribed officials, he kept running the cartel. Shipments moved, rivals disappeared. By 2001, he'd had enough, and Mexico's courts had just made it easier to extradite men like him. So he left. The official story: smuggled out in a laundry cart, wheeled straight past guards who somehow never checked. Others say he simply strolled out dressed as an officer, escorted by guards already on his payroll. Either way, the mechanism was the same one that would define his whole life. He didn't beat the system, he bought it. And the border simply reopened for business. The years after his escape were, for Guzmán, a golden age. For Mexico, a bloodbath. In 2006, the government declared open war on the cartels and sent in the army. The violence didn't shrink, it detonated. Over 100,000 people died in the drug war that followed, most of them ordinary civilians caught in the middle. The Sinaloa Cartel became the dominant supplier of drugs to the United States. Billions of dollars a year. Forbes put him on the billionaires list. A fugitive on a magazine cover, hunted by 2 governments. How does the world's most wanted man stay free for 13 years? Partly discipline, burner phones, trusting no one, but mostly he was protected by bribed police who tipped him off before every single raid. And by the myth. To poor Sinaloa, he was a folk hero, and a legend never gets turned in. Every myth needs someone stubborn enough to stop believing it. That man was an American DEA agent named Andrew Hogan. There was no task force hunting the world's most wanted trafficker. So Hogan built the case almost from scratch. He learned Spanish, moved his family to Mexico City, and went after the couriers and lieutenants, not Guzmán directly. Slowly, they mapped the cartel's nervous system, how numbers changed, who spoke to whom, where signals pinged. They got close. They hit a resort town, and he was already gone, out the back door onto a plane. Every near miss taught them something. He never slept in the same place twice, never trusted the same courier long. In Culiacan, they found a bathtub that lifted on hydraulics, straight down into the city's sewer tunnels. An entire network of tunnels linked the safe houses on that street. He could resurface blocks away, unseen. But this time, they stayed on him. The trail led to a hotel in the coastal city of Mazatlan. He grabbed a rifle and locked himself in the bathroom. His wife begged the soldiers not to hurt their daughters. Without a single shot, the most hunted man in the world surrendered. February 2014, back inside Altiplano. Extradition meant the end for him. Guzmán was going to need one more tunnel. His family quietly bought a plot of land a kilometer from the prison, a half-finished house that drew no attention. To hit a target the size of a cell from a kilometer out, they smuggled him a GPS beacon to aim at. This wasn't a jailbreak. This was a construction project. Engineers reportedly trained abroad for the water table below. A year of digging. Half a mile long, tall enough to walk upright, wired with lights, ventilation, and rail track. Cost, an estimated $5 million. Prisoners nearby complained for months about the drilling. The guards did nothing. July 11th, 2015. The digging finally broke through, right into the floor of Guzmán's shower. 10 meters down, a ladder, a tunnel, and a motorcycle waiting on rails to carry him half a mile to freedom. He surfaced in that unfinished house and was flown to the mountains of Sinaloa before Mexico even knew he was gone. Guards watched their monitors show an empty cell for 20 full minutes before anyone bothered to check. The prison warden was fired. Officials were charged. This wasn't a hole in the wall, it was a hole in the state. Free again. The most wanted man on earth, for the second time in his life. He should have vanished into the mountains forever. Instead, he asked for a meeting with a movie star. This part of the story sounds invented. It isn't. Guzmán had become a legend. And legends, it turns out, want to see themselves on screen. Through the actress Kate Del Castillo, contact reached Sean Penn. 3 months after the escape, Guzmán gave him a jungle interview. Penn published it in Rolling Stone, a fugitive calmly discussing his career, while two nations tore the country apart, hunting him. The interview did something Guzmán never intended. Tracking the famous people who met him helped tighten the net. Years of phones and tunnels had failed to find him. His own ego walked investigators halfway there. Special forces closed in that same month. Guzmán fell escaping down a cliff and barely got away. January 2016, the thread finally ran out. The final clue was almost insultingly ordinary. A late-night taco order, delivered by a white van. Marines hit the safe house before dawn. A firefight tore through it, floor by floor, room by room. By the time they reached the roof, Guzmán was already gone. Down a tunnel, out a storm drain, across from a Walmart. He and a gunman carjacked a vehicle at gunpoint and sped off into the early morning streets. Then the story that ran on $5 million tunnels and bought governments ended on the smallest possible failure. The car broke down. They stole another car, made the highway, but it was too late. Police caught up and arrested him on the road. The most powerful drug lord in the world was finally, permanently in custody. This time, Mexico did not risk another tunnel. Guzmán was extradited. The one outcome he'd spent his career avoiding. 2019. A federal courtroom in New York. Convicted on every count. Sentenced to life plus 30 years. Today he sits in ADX Florence, a supermax so controlled it's been called a clean version of hell. No tunnels, no bribes, no blind spot. For the man who escaped everything, there is nothing left to escape. It's tempting to tell this as a caper, the clever little man who beat 2 governments with nerve and tunnels. That's a lie by omission. Every tunnel, every bribe, every disappearing act protected one business. And that business was death. Well over 100,000 killed in Mexico's drug war. His genius for logistics wasn't charming, it was industrial. And the output was corpses, a generation fed into the ground. Catching him didn't fix anything. The Sinaloa Cartel barely flinched. His sons and partners kept it running, bigger than ever. The tunnels are still there. They caught the man. They never touched the machine.